Hi everyone, I'm Anne, and in this episode I share my process of this watercolor succulent. The plan is to fill this empty little watercolor sketchbook with botanical illustrations. At least that's the plan. For the first one, I'm painting a zebra succulent. I start with the sketch. The line in the middle is an indication of the height and the angle of the plant. The small white stripes are not embedded in the leaves, they are on top of the surface and they have a certain thickness. I try to imitate that in my sketch. After the sketch is done, I lighten the graphite with a kneaded eraser and start painting. No pen this time. I still have some paint from a previous project on my palette and I don't know which colors I've used there. But for the new colors, I try to share which of them I've used, as far as I remember that. But it doesn't really matter that much. If you want to try this painting as well, you can mix similar colors. Throughout this project I'm using mostly Viridian hue mixed with yellows and browns and sometimes a touch of Prussian blue to add some variety in the leaves. In the end of this video I'll show you how I gave this illustration that vintage effect, but first I paint the succulent. I'm painting around the white stripes. You can use masking fluid, but I didn't do that in this case. I try to lay down a flat layer of colors first, before I add the shadows and the refined details. In the first layer I try to keep it fairly light and to add variety in the shades by mixing in different colors in the wet paint on the paper. Close to the roots of the plant, the leaves are a bit more brown. Other parts even have some blue undertones. In between, I'm adding some more refined details with a thicker mixture of paint by sort of hatching some brush strokes on top of the first layer. Especially in the areas where the leaves overlap each other, you can make it a touch darker. That way you create contrast and each individual leaf will stand out in the end. If I mix a new puddle of paint, I don't mix all the colors in the entire puddle, I leave some variety in the mix. So when I load new paint on my brush, not everything is the same. I also have a scrap piece of paper at hand, that way I can test the colors first. I'm not that confident yet to go in directly on my artwork. With a mix of burnt umber and sepia, I make the first layer for the roots of the succulent. While that is drying, I start working on the shadows and the details of the upper part. I keep adding shadows and keep on refining details until I think it looks good. Don't be scared to go quite dark. Having that contrast in your work is important. It doesn't matter how detailed your artwork is, if it lacks contrast, it will look flat. Finally, I can finish the roots of the plant. I'm dabbing a bit with the paintbrush to imitate the irregular texture, and some parts I make it darker than others. After that I make some really thin roots sticking out of the dirt. That adds just that little bit extra. And for the finishing touch, I scanned the painting in the computer and gave it a vintage look in Photoshop. I write a Latin name under it in a nice font and give it a brownish color that I picked from the painting. Then I convert the text into a pixel layer and reposition the text and illustration so it's all nice and centered. After that, I drag in an old paper texture, set the blend mode to multiply and lower the opacity a bit. Then I skew the text so it looks more like an old-fashioned cursive handwriting. Here you can see why I converted the text into a pixel layer, because now I can apply a layer mask over it. Due to the layer mask, I can undestructively take away a part of the lettering with a textured brush, so the ink looks old and faded. And there you have it. It's all finished. What do you think? Please like the video and leave a comment down below. That really helps out my channel. Have a nice day. Until next time.